Standing here tonight, I'm reminded of how good God is and how different my life looks now compared to not that long ago. Much of that change happened because people I haven't even met yet chose to believe in someone like me. My name is Betta, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to share my story tonight. Before coming to St. John's, my life was at a crossroads, but to understand that, I need to go back a little further. My mother is separated from my father because of her own unresolved pain, and she remarried. I grew up in a home marked by instability and fear. My stepfather struggled with addiction, and there was physical abuse in our household. As a child, that environment shaped how I saw love, safety, and even myself. It planted seeds of confusion, hurt, and survival that I carried with me for years. My mom worked constantly and became emotionally absent, and I grew up holding resentment because I couldn't understand why we had to carry the weight of decisions that weren't ours. As the oldest of 5, I became the caretaker. Watching addiction up close, I told myself that would never be my life. What I didn't realize is that unhealed pain always finds a way to resurface until it's faced. I didn't learn how to ask for help, I learned how to endure. That survival mode followed me into adulthood. I married young at 19 to the father of my son, who was physically abusive. The circumstances looked different, but the pattern looked familiar. I knew how to survive. I knew how to push through pain without asking whether I should. When I became a mother, something shifted. I didn't want my son to confuse fear with love or silence with strength. I wanted him to grow up knowing that love should feel safe, and his voice matters, and that it's okay to walk away from anything that harms you. I chose to break that cycle so he never has to repeat it. So I left. Divorced at 23, a single mom, I was eager to make a comeback. Eventually, I built my own business. It looked like success, even receiving praises for being ahead of my time. Achievement was my armor, ego was my mask. I thought I was in control. The truth is, I wasn't healed. I was just productive, chasing validation and working to prove myself instead of doing the work to truly improve. In 2021, I survived a car accident that almost took my life. My ego shattered. I went back to work like nothing happened, making yet another comeback. When the pressure built, I didn't know how to slow down or even ask for help. I only knew the habits I was taught, and those habits taught me how to escape. And that's when I learned ego is a fragile foundation. Addiction followed and shame settled in deep. I had fought so hard to escape the trauma I was raised in, but unhealed pain pulled me right back in. I couldn't recognize myself. I had become what I swore I'd never be. That shame became so heavy, I questioned my life and if it even mattered. Alex and G, who are here with me tonight, stepped in. They helped me get the guidance I needed. Their willingness to show up changed the trajectory of my life and my son KJ's life. After rehab at Alpha Oaks, I realized my sobriety didn't end when treatment ended. I needed a safe space to bridge the gap between rehab and real life. I had options, places with more freedom that sounded appealing, but I knew I needed structure, accountability, real life guidance, and something solid to keep me rooted in long term. I chose St. John's. I didn't need freedom, I needed a foundation. I walked through those red doors on June 10, 2025, and I remember how welcomed I felt, especially by Trina and Bridget at the front desk. When I first came to St. John's, my 12-year-old son, KJ, wasn't living with me. His grandparents had cared for him for 2 years during my addiction. I saw him on weekends, but I wanted him full time. I came back with I'm back, give me my son energy. without fully understanding how hard that transition was for his grandparents and for my son. Then KJ came to visit one weekend at St. John. As an only child in our family, it meant so much to see him surrounded by other kids because of Karen and the incredible fun program she creates for the women and children at St. John's. He wasn't just welcomed, he was embraced. St. John's felt like one big playground to KJ. It still feels like that to him. Within a week, he moved in. St. John's didn't just support me. It gave my son and his grandparents the trust they needed. Today, they speak so highly of this program, and our family is stronger because of it. The family-centered treatment program at St. John's with Mike taught me that healing doesn't just happen within me, it happens within my family. He helped me see that the lens I had been looking through for so long. I saw KJ and I as an incomplete puzzle, but he showed me that we were never lacking anything. We were already whole, already a family, and already one. Shifting that mindset changed everything. It allowed me to show up differently, to love differently, and to become the mother my son truly needed. It helped me to recognize how I communicate, how I react, how I cope, and taught me how to replace them with healthier, more loving patterns. For the first time, I wasn't just surviving. I was unlearning it. I was unlearning what I was taught. This journey wasn't just about getting my son back. It was about becoming the kind of mother he can feel safe with, grow with, and never heal from. Healthy relationships and positive thinking classes with Sharita confronted the habits I've carried since childhood, and I learned what healthy love truly looks like. I realized I had been choosing relationships that exhausted me physically and emotionally, while trying to run from the very pain I kept recreating. Now I protect my peace, I honor my boundaries, and I'm intentional about who I allow access into my life. Rehab initiated my healing, but St. John's carried it out. With substance use disorder classes with Sharita and weekly check-ins with Joe. Yeah. Joe's always telling me, just do the next right thing. Today, I can sit in front of a glass of wine and feel nothing, no urge to numb, no pullback to who I used to be, because it was never about the substance. It could have been alcohol, peanut butter, shopping, anything. The real battle was within me. What St. John's gave me was more than continued sobriety. It gave me structure, consistency, a system that rewired how I think and how I live. It took me out of survival mode, and I was just getting through each day, and it moved me into a place where I could actually create a life I could be proud of. This program became my cheat code, not an easy way out, but the tools, the accountability, and the mindset I needed to keep showing up, to keep choosing growth, and to carry this new way of life, of living with me long after I walk out of those red doors. Next month, I'll be celebrating 1 year of sobriety. Woo! And finishing the job readiness program with Portia nearing the finish line. The goals I'm working toward are continued education, long-term recovery, and a life of service to others. This used to feel so far away. They now feel like my real life and the life I'm stepping into. Angel and Nicole walked alongside me as St. John's invested in my future by renewing my massage therapy license through 2027. Woo! As of January 2025, massage therapists are recognized as healthcare providers, and that milestone meant so much, but more than advancing my career, the support restored something deeper in me. It restored my dignity. I dream of the day when KJ can look back and see not just a mother who recovered, but a mother who healed, grew, and chose a different path. And I dream of being on the other side of this journey, able to support others who are walking through those same doors for the first time, unsure, hopeful, and afraid, just like I was. St. John's didn't set me up for another comeback. They introduced me to a version of myself I had never met before. Because I'm not returning to the woman I was, I'm becoming the woman I was meant to be, whole, present, and finally free. Before I close, I want to say thank you to Alpha Oaks. Thank you for believing in me, for guiding me to a program that truly bridges recovery to real life, and for trusting me to come back monthly to share my story so other women can see that choosing structure now leads to healing, freedom, and their families. To Scott, the CEO, and the incredible staff at St. John's, thank you for your structure, your leadership, your compassion, and your unwavering belief in us. What you do reaches far beyond one life. It strengthens families, shifts generations, and transforms entire communities. Angelica, my case manager, who met with me every single week and made sure I never felt off track, your steady presence and accountability helped me. To JJ, Desiree, and Allison, what you give isn't just food. It's comfort, it's safety, and it's home. To the IS staff, Thomasina, Maury, Shay, Anna, and the rest of the on-campus staff, thank you for being there 24/7, securing the entire premises, but you also do so much more than that. You're here after hours for random, unexpected moments, and even those late night therapy sessions when we just need someone to talk to. Your presence makes this place feel safe. To the women in this program, when I first came in, I tried to find similarities between us, but I struggled. Instead, I found myself seeing something I deeply admired. I saw in you a version of motherhood I had always longed for, shaped by the little girl in me who once wished her own mother had chosen this path. I've chosen forgiveness, and in that choice, I found freedom, the kind of freedom that allows me to move forward and become the best mother I can to my son. Living amongst you all healed that for me. So I want to take this moment to honor you. I honor the courage it takes to face your pain and choose growth. I honor the love it takes to do this work while still being everything your children need you to be. What you're doing is not small. What you're doing is not temporary. You are changing your children's lives in real time, and that's powerful. I also want to thank Good Shepherd Church, Tammy, Renee, and Gretchen for showing up at St. John's. Reminding us that even at our lowest moments, God is still in control and Jesus remains King. Because when we carry the mindset of, yes, I lost that, but look what I learned, that's how we rob the enemy of glory. Yes, I walked through addiction, but look at the strength, wisdom, and faith it produced in me. And finally, thank you to my guests. Alex and G, when I was at my lowest, you stepped in and stood in that gap for me. You showed up as real men with strength, integrity, and faith. And I'm beyond grateful for my son to have the both of you as role models. If my story leaves you with anything tonight, let it be this. Healing didn't rewrite my past, but it changed my future, and that changed everything. Thank you.